Today, we've got the biggest match in this save so far by an absolute mile. We're playing against Crewe in the FA Cup. Hello and welcome to part 10 of Backing the Boro. I'm Kev, and coming up on today's episode we have the aforementioned match away against Crewe in the FA Cup 4th qualifying round, plus we're away against Stafford in the league. Are Stafford local rivals? I feel like Stafford's not a million miles away from Nuneaton. I could be making that up though. Hold on, we can have a look on our rivals and see. Where does it say rivals? It's on general, isn't it? No, they're nowhere near. Where's Stafford then? I'm so confused. Anyway, since you were last with us, this is what we've been up to. It had been going rather splendidly, and then we had a little cloud on the horizon when we lost to Spennymoor, which actually shot us down the league quite a lot. Actually, we've fallen out of the playoff spots again, below Alfreton again, which is obviously a situation that can't be allowed to continue. That being said, I don't think it's a disaster at all to be 8th after 12 games. Yeah, we're 9 points behind Kidderminster, but we were never winning the league this year. The goal for this season is getting into the playoffs. And remember, that's our personal goal. The target for the club is mid-table. The media prediction for the club is mid-table. So as long as we get in there and have a go at the playoffs this year, we'll be fine. And we have been doing that run of form without Jordan Nicholson, who's been injured. He's going to be back today, although he's still officially injured. He's got sprained knee ligaments. He's been out for 5 weeks. He was initially predicted to be out for up to 8 weeks, but we're going to bring him back today for the Crewe game because financially we could really do with a cup run. We're massively in debt. We're slightly over the wage budget, not by a huge amount, slightly over the wage budget, but this is a problem. The projection is terrifying. So a cup run would be really nice. And I know it's probably a bad idea to gamble our star player on a cup run, but what am I if I'm not the king of bad ideas? So this is the team we're putting out there for the game against Crewe, who, by the way, they are in the Conference National, obviously. That's why they're in the qualifying round. They are top of it, though. They got relegated from League 2 last year. Now top of Salford a second look. Didn't they get promoted last year? They did. I mean, that's why we didn't win the league last year, because Salford are destined for great things, clearly. So this is going to be our team anyway. We've got Linus in goal. A back three of Clark, Ercolani and Jones, with Lewis and Elliott as our wing-backs. George and El Bekri in midfield, with Jordan Nicholson, an injured Jordan Nicholson, in behind Rocker and Chambers, who are both still scoring fairly regularly. Chambers with 8 goals from 12 games, but the real star man now is Elliott Rocker, with 1 extra goal. 9 goals from 12 games, but he's in great form at the moment. I mean, okay, I thought he was in great form. He's had a few off games. Interesting. Don't play the previous matches the day before, Kev. You forget what's going on. Shh. Right, let's get into the game anyway. So, away against Crewe, there is the potential for star players in their team. If they've just come down from the Football League, we're obviously not going to have the usual advantage we have where, they've got Andre Dazelle. No, they're going to absolutely destroy us. And Will Jaskalainen, 2 previous non-league to legend veterans. How are those 2 players playing in non-league? I don't understand at all. But we've got a goalkeeper we know we can't get past because we had him. Where did we have him? Did we have him for Bolton? I feel like the Bolton bat was too far in the future for him to still be around. We must have had him somewhere though, because I remember having him in my team. I know his first name's Will. I wouldn't know that if I had never picked him for a team. But Andre Dazelle was a massive star of non-league to legend the first time round in our Ipswich team. And he must just be on loan at Crewe, I guess. Which I guess if you're going to send a promising youngster on loan, Crewe is one of the places where you'd want to send him with their reputation for developing youngsters. Although whether you'd want to send him to a non-league Crewe, I'm not so sure, because I imagine there are plenty of teams in the Football League who'd be interested in taking Andre Dazelle on loan, unless he's not the player he once was, potential-wise, because at this point, I mean, what are we? We're in 2018 now. He would have been he was a star for Ipswich at like age 18, 19 on FM18. He must be about that age. Hold on, let's see how old he is. Andre Dazelle is 19. Weird. Okay. Right. 0-0 at half-time. We're absolutely comfortable with that. If we can take this to a replay, it's only going to do good things for our coffers. We need the pennies. What sort of attendance do Crewe get for Nuneaton? I mean, that's a decent attendance for a team of our level. If we got that kind of attendance for the return fixture, that would be amazing. But obviously we need to not lose before we get a replay. And the priority is still to go and grab a goal. If we can grab a win and get ourselves into the first round proper, that would be awesome, because then we're opening ourselves up to a potential dream tie against Posh, which is what we really want. Both because I'd like it and also because of the little relationship that the two clubs have anyway. So it would be a chance for Jordan Nicholson to go and get revenge on the team that released him. He's looking exhausted now and we should probably substitute him. Right, okay. We kept him on for a little while. We've got Jack Lancaster, who has been playing in Nicholson's absence. We talked pre-season about how he looked as good as Nicholson. He's not as good as Nicholson, but he has only played 3 games. But he's taken a little bit of a while to get used to playing competitive football, which he's never really done before. But today might be his day. So we'll get him on for Nicholson. Let's make another change as well. El Beckry's not turned up at all, so we'll bring Salmons on for him. Swap those two over, get AJ George a little bit further forward, because he has scored a few goals recently. He's quite the threat going forward, so we're very keen to get him into attacking positions. So keen, in fact, that it makes me sneeze and then do a dodgy edit. Right, we need to make a third substitution. Why didn't I make all these in one go? Rocker can come off. I'm going to bring on Tyler Smith, swap the two of them over, and just try and use Smith's pace to stretch tired Crewe legs. What's Crewe's nickname? Dazell's been taken off now as well, so not only is he slumming it down in the conference, but he's not even staying on the pitch for full matches. He's not having any influence on games. This is not the same Andre Dazell. I don't like players changing from version to version of the game. It's horrible. It looks like, unless something disastrous happens here, which, I mean, it is a bit of a worry when you see Clark dallying on the ball for too long. Although Chambers in, we could have the disaster at the other end, but we don't. And it looks like it is going to end a draw. Or else one of these teams is going to be unfairly punished by a last-minute winner. There's not been a clear-cut chance in the entire game. There's not really been much of anything. It's been a bit of a nothing game. The magic of the FA Cup and all that. But Chambers is in, and for a second there I thought he might just steal it. We've actually had probably our 2 best chances of the game have come in the last 2 minutes. There's 30 seconds of the game remaining. Are we going to get a chance for a third good opportunity? Smith has got the ball, finds Chambers. I can't remember the kid's name, but he's running further forward. The one who's not Jordan Nicholson, but we're hitting the ball back to Clark. Although he could do another one of his lumped through balls. Chambers nods it across, but was offside. That's a bit of a shame, because it was he did well to get there, probably because he was offside. But I can live with a draw in that game, and in fact, depending on when the replay is, we might just do the replay as the second game on today's episode, because I think it would be fun to get an FA Cup draw and all that stuff. So we're playing the replay next. We're definitely doing the replay now. Stafford can wait for another day. Right, on the subject of it being fun if we have a draw, we have a draw. Obviously, we've not actually won the match yet, but let's have an FA Cup first round draw. Obviously, there's a lot of teams in this, so we're going to race through it fairly quickly, trying to see us come out of the hat, or any teams we'd particularly like to face. Really, any team that I've managed in the past would be quite good fun, or any team that has the potential to offer us a big chunk of cash, because a big chunk of cash is what we're really looking for. We made £25,000 out of that first game against Crewe, and then the board put £50,000 into the club, so we're actually in the black again for a minute. Coventry would be massive. If we could get Coventry away, that's huge. Cambridge would have been fun. Who else would we like? There's so many teams in this competition. Oh, there we go. So Crewe on Nuneaton will face... Who have we... Posh are still in there. Posh are still an option. That's the one I want. Fleetwood. I mean, it's probably this, attendance-wise, the smallest team in League One we could have got, surely. Just automatic draw the rest of it. So it's not... No, stop what... Draw all teams, that's what I want to do. So it's not as exciting as it could have been. What sort of attendance? I guess it would be at home if we got through. And what sort of attendances do Fleetwood get? So if we have a look at their last... I mean, decent size, I guess, for our level, certainly. I mean, it's... If nothing else, if we beat Crewe, it's winnable. We're not going to beat Crewe, are we? But what we want one of these proper cup runs. I've never done a run through to the FA Cup third round from non-league, I don't think. I don't ever remember doing it. And now might be a nice opportunity to have a go at it. Get some money in the bank. I don't know why I'm watching this bit while you're here and not just skipping straight to the game like I normally do. Let's do that. Apologies for those of you who take notes on all the games we play and make your notes in advance of us playing them. The game's been rearranged again. It is still going to be the game we play next, but it's now been postponed thanks to a waterlogged pitch. Now, bearing in mind, our last home game, which was in here somewhere, was postponed for a waterlogged pitch, and they've only postponed it 3 days. I'm not sure how unwaterlogged it's going to be 3 days later, but I don't know. What do they do if the pitch just stays flooded forever? Do we just get through to the next round? Do they just throw us out of the cup for not being able to get the water off the pitch? I guess we're going to find out. Just the one change for the game that apparently is now not waterlogged. Diane comes in for Joey Jones, purely because he had a little bit of a whinge at me saying he wanted first team football, and I had a look and there's actually no reason why he shouldn't be playing ahead of Jones. He's apparently better than him, so yeah, you can have a run of first team football, Diane. So the rest of the team is unchanged. Hopefully the fact that he's not match fit costs us that sentence. That got away from me a little bit. Hopefully the fact that he's not match fit doesn't cost us. There's too many negatives in that sentence. You get what I mean. I don't want him to be our weak link. But he was something of a saviour for us last year. He came in and offered us a little bit of defensive stability. I know the season didn't end brilliantly, but we went on a decent run after he first signed, so it is a little bit harsh that he's dropped out of the team completely. And Ashley Chambers has just put us 1-0 up after 5 minutes against top of the conference national Crewe. It's a cross from Nicholson. Chambers finishes. It's basically a prototype Nuneaton goal, and oh goodness me, is this getting exciting? Imagine if we beat Crewe, because then we can go and beat Fleetwood as well. And then who might we get next? We're going to win the FA Cup. That's the only logical outcome of that goal going in. We're probably going to win the FA Cup. We're going to need to sign more players if we're going to be in the Europa League next year. How many players do you need for a Europa League squad? I don't think we've got enough. This is all. It's too much pressure. I kind of want them to score here so I don't have to go and sign a Europa League squad. Who wants Thursday night football anyway? Can we refuse to play in it if we win the FA Cup? There you go. Thank goodness. Whew. Now normal order is resumed. We don't all need to get too ahead of ourselves. Calm down, all of you who had already bought your cup final tickets. We're not there yet. There's still work to do. And, I mean, Diane tried to get his tackle in. But Linus could have possibly done a little bit better with that, actually. It wasn't the most threatening of shots. I guess it was fairly well placed, but I don't know. He's such a good keeper. It's the sort of thing I kind of expect him to be able to keep hold of or handle. Right, let's go and grab another one. We like scoring lots of goals. 1-0 isn't our style anyway. We want to win 5-4. That's much more fun. Oh, Nicholson's given the ball away in midfield, and Okalani can't get across to cover. And that one. That we looked like a team from the division below for that goal, because Nicholson was just sloppy here. He's just closed down too quickly. Okalani took too long to turn, couldn't get across, and it was just a lightning quick break that, I don't know, if we'd have had Joey Jones on that side rather than an unfit Diane, would he have caught up with the guy? I don't think he would have done, but it's a consideration, isn't it? I'm a little bit disappointed that Okalani was so slow to turn. He's been a bit of a rock for us this year, but that was disappointing, and he's not had the best of games looking at his rating. But Clark hits the crossbar. Diane now can't control, and right on the stroke of half time we hit the crossbar to show that it's not all over yet. We're still in this thing. Let's go and grab a couple of more goals, because that's what everyone wants. Jordan Nicholson he was fired up, now he's frustrated. What on earth happened in that 2 minutes to frustrate the man? Rocker's in behind though, and that, sometimes we discuss what is a bottle job. Elliot Rocker bottled that. That's what a bottle job looks like. He's through on goal, scoring for fun this season, and absolutely skies it because he was afraid to score. That's bottling something. Right, George, he shouldn't be bottling things. He's a higher level player dropping down on loan to us. But Crewe are breaking on us again. We are a little bit slow at the back. It's a problem we do have against certain opposition, and oh goodness me, I think we've woken them with that early goal, and that might have been a bit of a mistake because they're now all over us. And very much the best of the two teams. If we do manage to even push this to extra time, it'll be a little bit unfair on them. But the important thing is we've got 2,000 people through the door, so we'll have made some money on it again, and it's all about making a few quid. Why don't we have Waters on the bench as a backup left back? That's no good. We will take Ercolani off, though, and bring Joey Jones on. Rocker also needs to come off because he's bottling things all over the place. And we'll bring on Salmons for Beckery. Simple substitutions that hopefully will lead to an equaliser and not conceding more goals. That's the purpose of those substitutions, to try and win this football match. Although we've had one shot on target in the whole game. We did score from it, but they've done a pretty decent job for a team. Considering we're fairly evenly matched in that first game, they've done a pretty good job of just making us look very ordinary in this replay. I mean, I still don't think there's any shame in going out 2-1 because they are top of the conference and we don't look completely out of our depth. But I do feel a little bit like at any point they could just switch up a gear again and go and grab 2 or 3 goals and they're just toying with us a little bit. Right, Elliot, we've got no time at all. Just kick the ball a long way. I mean, the amount of times Clark's lumped it up pitch for a goal this season and he decides not to do it there when there is literally no time remaining. I don't understand why the whistle hasn't gone. The Crewe fans are whistling their faces off, all 394 of them. The game still continues, but there it is. We are out of the FA Cup. Apologies for those of you who are already looking at European travel. We're not getting into Europe this year, but we will come back and we will try again next year. And sooner or later, we will win that pesky FA Cup. If you've enjoyed today's episode, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for brand new Football Manager videos, 4 PM, 9 PM every single day. Thank you very much for watching.